He had less than 4 minutes to live, and he had no idea. It's August, 79 AD, in a city called Pompeii. The sun is out. Markets are open. A man, we'll call him by what scientists later nicknamed him, the Resin Man, is sitting in a chair in his home, probably exhausted from helping his family pack a few belongings. He thinks he has time. Everyone in that city thinks they have time. And in the next few minutes, you're going to find out exactly how wrong they were, and how, almost 2,000 years later, his final seconds were frozen so perfectly that scientists today can practically watch him die in real time. Stick with me, because the way his body was found will absolutely chill you. Welcome to Broken World, the channel where history isn't just facts, it's the moments that changed everything. Let's rewind a few hours. Mount Vesuvius, the mountain that towered peacefully over Pompeii for generations, starts behaving strangely. Locals notice tremors. Nothing they haven't felt before, though. Earthquakes were just part of life there. Nobody panics. Nobody runs. Why would they? The mountain had been quiet for so long that most people didn't even think of it as a volcano. To them, it was just a mountain. Then, early afternoon, the top of Vesuvius rips open. A column of ash and pumice shoots nearly 20 miles into the sky. 4 hours, it just rains down. Not lava, not fire, just rock and ash, falling like deadly snow. Many people in Pompeii actually survive this first phase. Roofs collapse under the weight, some are struck, but plenty of residents are still alive, sheltering, waiting it out, thinking the worst is over. It wasn't, because the real killer hadn't even arrived yet. In the dead of night, the volcanic column collapses on itself. And what comes rushing down the mountainside isn't lava. It's something far faster, and far more terrifying, a pyroclastic surge. A wall of superheated gas and ash moving at speeds that could outrun a car, with temperatures hot enough to instantly stop a human body in its tracks. This is the moment our man, the one sitting quietly in his home, never sees coming. Archaeologists believe he had gathered some belongings, maybe trying to decide whether to flee or shelter, when the surge hit the city. And here's the part that makes this so different from the famous plaster casts you've probably seen of Pompeii victims curled up in agony. This man's body was preserved in a way researchers had never encountered before. Instead of leaving a hollow cavity in hardened ash, like most victims, his remains were coated and sealed by a uniquely fast cooling process, locking his form into something closer to glass than stone. Scientists call the result vitrified remains, and it is exceptionally rare. In fact, this specific kind of preservation has only been documented in just a handful of cases anywhere in the eruption zone. What does that actually mean? It means parts of his brain tissue itself turned into a glass-like material. Let that sink in for a second. The heat was so extreme, and the cooling that followed was so sudden, that soft tissue essentially flash-converted into glass before it had time to decay. This is one of the only times in human history something like this has ever been found. For centuries, this man lay frozen in that exact position. No light, no air, no movement, just sealed in volcanic rock while empires rose and fell above him. The Roman Empire collapsed. The Renaissance happened. World wars came and went. And the entire time, he was just there, waiting, in a sense, for someone to finally come looking. When archaeologists eventually uncovered him, what they found wasn't just bones. It was a frozen moment, his posture, his position, the very last instant of his life captured with a precision almost no other ancient remains have ever offered. Using this kind of preservation, scientists can study things you simply cannot learn from a skeleton alone. How fast the heat hit, how his body reacted in its final second, even details about his health and age before that day. And here's the part that should make you pause. This wasn't some random soldier or famous figure. This was just an ordinary person, going about an ordinary day, who unknowingly became one of the most scientifically valuable human remains ever discovered, not because of how he lived, but because of the exact, freakish way he died. That's the brutal irony of Pompeii. The people who died there didn't become famous through victory or legacy. They became immortal through tragedy, frozen in the last second they were alive, forever telling the story of a city that had no idea its final day had already begun. If this story hit you the way it hit me while researching it, make sure you're subscribed to Broken World, because we dig into the moment's history almost erased, the disasters, the discoveries, the stories textbooks skip. Drop a comment and tell me which part shocked you the most. Hit like if you want more stories like this, and I'll see you in the next one.